Well, hey guys, this is Matt with 42 Pros, and in this video for 120 Wednesday, it is all about the B-roll, and we'll go show you 5 different ways to get better B-roll for any project that you encounter. So let's get started. Well, welcome back to 42 Pros, and again, thanks for watching our video. It is appreciated. But today is 120 Wednesday, and we are going to be talking all about how to get better B-roll. And we're actually specifically going through the process that I go through and I teach most people on how to get better B-roll for storytelling projects. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get that timer up on the clock, and we'll see if I can get through all these things in 2 minutes. Might be doubtful. But anyways, the first one is establishing shots, and that is, simply put, it establishes where you are, who you're with, and what you're doing. All right, and there's a couple different ways you can get these shots. Number one is using a really wide angle lens, doing pan shots, or if you do have glide cams or gimbals, you can get some movement shots, kind of push-ins or pull-outs, or parallax shots. And one of the easiest ways to get some of these shots is if you have access or if you own a drone. And these really come in handy on some of these projects when you're trying to capture those establishing shots. So next, for number 2, is detailed shots. I personally try to get 2, if not 3 different types of the same shot for my detailed shots. Normally I'll get fairly close and stay wide. Then I'll back up, get a little bit tighter, anywhere from between that 35 to 75 millimeter range, get the same shot. Then I'll back up and get that third shot again by going in even tighter. There you go. 3 different ways to get detailed shots, because you never know what you might need in post when you're putting it together in your editing room. Okay, so the next one would be movement shots. And this is where those glide cams and gimbals come in handy, because you can get those really smooth shots, whether you're doing those parallax shots or if you are doing those push-ins or pull-outs or whatever. If you're just walking around and just getting some creative shots of some of the extra little fine-tuned details, this comes in handy. But this type of equipment is not required to get those shots, because you can get some really good handheld movement shots by only moving 6 to 8, 10 inches. Okay, just a little bit of a subtlety little move, depending on what your focal length is. You can get some really cool creative shots, especially with some buttery bokeh blurred background. All right, so movement shots. The next little thing is kind of my checklist of what I do before I hit that record button, which is the 5 F's. You check your f-stop, your focal length, your framing, your focus, and then you hit the firing button or your start or record button. So f-stop, we have talked about that before, and that is your aperture and how big or how small it is, which can control your depth of field or how big your focal plane is. The focal length is simply how tight or how wide you are to your subject that you're recording, and your framing really comes into play on how creative you can be, whether you're using the rule of thirds or if you're centering them or whatever. But if you don't know about rule of thirds, definitely search that up after you watch the video, because that is something I'd highly recommend using. And then obviously you got to have some footage that's in focus before you hit the button to record. And there you go. So that's the 5 F's. Last but definitely not least is audio B-roll clips. Yes, audio B-roll clips. And this is crucial when you're doing a specific project where you want to really get those people consumed into what you're showing them, by adding those extra little environmentals of audio in there, so you can get the birds chirping, or if you're in a city scene where somebody's out on a balcony, you can get the little car and the crowd noises and whatever. You can add that in and layer it way underneath and just have it as a real subtle background noise, and that will add so much to the experience of the viewers and the audience that's watching this, that it'll really just consume them into what you're doing and what you're trying to get across from a visual standpoint. It really takes the viewer and puts them in that specific place of where you're at when you are filming. So definitely keep that in mind. But there you go, guys. That's the 5 things that I go through when I film B-roll for any projects. Hopefully this helped you out. If it did, give us that thumbs up, as well as hit that subscribe button. And yeah, there you go. The 5 things: establishing shots, detailed shots, movement shots, the 5 Fs, and then your audio B-roll, which can be a very, very key piece to what you're doing in your video projects. So but that's it, guys. As usual, get the gear that's right for you, because only you can do your projects. And since we usually only have one chance to get it right, why not do it right and do it once? Till next time, guys, we'll see you in the next video.